Welcome back, everybody, to The Deep Dive. And today we're diving deep into some of the most valuable U.S. coins.
Ooh.
We got this amazing list compiled by USA Coin Book. Based on their database of, over 6,000 U.S. coins.
Wow.
They've taken into account everything you can think of, like the year the coin was minted,
Right.
the rarity, of course, condition, mint marks, and even all those little quirks and errors that make a coin really stand out.
Yeah, it's like they've thought of everything.
Yeah, they really have. It's super comprehensive.
It's fascinating how all those factors come together to determine a coin's value.
It really is.
Yeah,
It's not just about how old a coin is.
Right. Yeah.
There's so much more to it.
Exactly. It's like a treasure hunt in your pocket.
There
You
you
never
go.
know if you've got a hidden gem.
I know, right? When I first saw this list, what really struck me was the sheer variety.
Uh-huh.
We're talking everything from half cents all the way up to those legendary $20 double eagles.
Oh, yeah. Those are incredible.
It's like a whole spectrum of American numismatic history.
It really is. It's a window into different eras of American history and economics.
What was it that first caught your eye when you saw this list?
Well, I was immediately drawn to the top three.
Yeah.
Not just because of their, astronomical value,
Right.
but for what they represent historically. For instance, the 1933 St. Gaudens gold $20 double eagle,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
valued at over $22 million. That coin's a direct link to one of the most turbulent periods in American history.
The Great Depression.
Exactly. The U.S. was in the throes of a financial crisis, and President Roosevelt had just issued that executive order essentially ending the gold standard.
Right.
And these coins already minted were ordered to be melted down.
It's the very fact that any of them survived.
I know, it's remarkable.
That's incredible.
It's incredible, and that's a huge part of why they're so sought after by collectors. It's not just the gold content. It's about owning a tangible piece of history from this pivotal moment.
It's like holding a ghost of a bygone era.
Yeah, I love that. And then there's the 1849 Coronet Head Gold $20 double eagle, valued at almost $19 million. Now, this one's a little different. It's actually part of the Smithsonian collection,
Oh, wow.
which really elevates its status. It's more than just a valuable coin. It becomes a national treasure.
It makes sense.
Yes.
It's like the difference between owning a rare book and having that same book on display in the Library of Congress.
Exactly. It becomes part of the national narrative. And then we have the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar with a silver plug,
Okay.
valued at over $12 million. What makes this coin so special is this tiny detail that most people wouldn't even notice.
The silver plug.
Yes. When I first saw that on the list, I thought, what's so special about a plug, right?
Right.
But it's actually this fascinating glimpse into early American minting practices. You see, back then, they didn't have the same precision that we have today.
Oh, I see.
So sometimes they would adjust the weight of a coin by adding or removing small plugs of silver.
So it wasn't like a planned feature. It was more of a
Yes.
fix.
Exactly. And that's what makes this particular coin so valuable. It's a unique artifact from a time when American coinage was still finding its footing.
It's amazing how something so small can completely change the value of a coin.
Right. And it makes you think, what stories are hidden in the coins we use every day? Have you ever come across a coin that made you stop and wonder about its past?
I think that's one of the most captivating things about coin collecting.
Mm-hmm.
Every single coin has a story. It's a journey through time and economics and even artistry, all packed into this tiny little piece of metal.
And sometimes those tiny pieces of metal can be worth a fortune.
Exactly. And as we go further down this list, we're going to see that value can come from the most unexpected places.
It's true.
From minting errors to historical significance,
Okay.
the world of valuable U.S. coins is full of surprises.
It keeps you guessing.
It's really interesting to think about all these rare coins. Like, who had them originally? Did they have any idea they were carrying around a potential fortune?
Yeah, could you imagine?
Or were they just everyday people using them, to buy groceries or a newspaper or whatever?
I know. Imagine using a 1933 double eagle to buy a cup of coffee during the Depression.
Oh, man. Talk about a missed opportunity.
I know.
But, okay, so let's move on to some of the other valuable coins on this list. I think it's super helpful that USA Coin Book broke it down by denomination.
Right.
So it lets us really dive into different areas of numismatics,
Yeah, absolutely.
and see what makes each type of coin kind of unique and special.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, when it comes to nickels,
Uh-huh.
the 1913 Liberty nickel still holds that top spot
Oh, yeah, classic.
with its mysterious origins and that super limited mintage.
It's a legend.
But there are also other interesting varieties, too, like the 1937 D three-legged buffalo nickel,
Oh, yeah.
which is highly sought after because of a striking error.
You know what's funny? I always wonder if they ever thought about just making that the standard design.
Right, a three-legged buffalo.
It's definitely more memorable.
It would be pretty wild. But anyway, moving on to dimes,
Okay.
we have the 1894 Rock Barber dime. With only 24 known examples,
Wow.
it's considered one of the rarest and most valuable U.S. coins.
It really makes you rethink the phrase a dime a dozen, huh?
Right. It puts it in perspective.
Uh,
And speaking of those early U.S. coins,
yeah.
the 1796 draped bust quarter is a standout in the quarter category. It was the first year they were issued.
Oh, wow.
And, surviving examples are super scarce.
I bet. It's not just about the scarcity, though, right?
Yeah.
It's about what that drake bust design represents. That was a whole new look compared to the flowing hair design.
Yeah.
And it really set the stage for how American coinage would evolve.
It's like holding a piece of that transition.
Exactly.
And when we look at half dollars, the 1838 O Copta bust half dollar with that unique O mint mark from New Orleans
So, right.
is a real gem for collectors.
It reminds us that U.S. coinage wasn't just a Philadelphia thing.
Exactly.
Mints all over the country were shaping the story of American money.
So many coins.
Mm-hmm.
So many stories. It's easy to get caught up in all the details, the dates, the mint marks the varieties.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that each coin has this whole journey.
Right.
It's been held by countless hands, used in countless transactions, and it's witnessed, a little slice of history.
It's more than just metal and numbers.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that's what makes coin collecting so much more than just a hobby.
Right. Absolutely. It's about connecting with the past, appreciating the artistry, and understanding the economic forces at play.
Well said. And speaking of multifaceted, I think we've only scratched the surface here.
Yeah, there's so much more to explore.
There are so many other coins to talk about,
Yeah.
from the, iconic Lincoln cents to those majestic gold pieces.
Oh, definitely.
But before we get into those, I think it's worth taking a moment to just reflect on what we've learned so far.
Okay.
The world of valuable U.S. coins is vast and intriguing, full of these unexpected twists and turns.
You never know what you're going to find.
And who knows, maybe one of our listeners has a hidden treasure tucked away in their own collection.
It wouldn't be the first time a valuable coin turned up in someone's attic or, even a coin jar.
Right. And that brings up a really interesting question. What would you do if you stumbled upon one of these rare and valuable coins? It's a tough one. It's like a coin collector's dilemma. you know?
Yeah.
Do you sell it and cash in?
Right.
Do you keep it and treasure it as a family heirloom?
Uh-huh.
Do you donate it to a museum so everyone can enjoy it?
It's a tough call.
What would you do?
Well, I think for me, it would depend on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, what's my personal connection to the coin? What's my, financial situation at the time?
Mm-hmm.
And really, what do I think is the best way to honor that coin's historical significance?
For me, I think the historical part would play a really big role in my decision.
Yeah.
To hold something that's survived for centuries,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even been touched by, historical figures.
Right.
It's just this incredible feeling to think this little piece of metal has witnessed so much of American history.
I know. It's humbling.
It's almost like holding a time capsule.
Yeah.
And then there's the question of value, too.
Right.
And I don't just mean like the monetary value,
Of course.
but also the historical and cultural value.
Absolutely. Some people might say that a coin like the 1933 Double Eagle belongs in a museum
Yeah.
where it can be preserved and shared with everyone,
Mm-hmm.
while others might argue that private ownership ensures that it's, cherished and cared for properly.
It's a really interesting debate.
Yeah,
And it goes beyond just coins,
it does.
It's about how we value and preserve history in general.
Yeah, and there's no easy answer. It's a personal choice that each individual has to make based on their own, values and circumstances.
Well, I think we've given everyone a lot to think about today.
I hope so.
From the rarest pennies to the most storied gold pieces, we've explored such a fascinating cross-section of American numismatic history.
We've just scratched the surface, really.
Yeah, there's so much more out there.
A whole world of coins waiting to be discovered.
So next time you come across a coin, just take a moment to really look at it.
Yeah.
Think about its journey, its history.
Who knows?
It might be holding a piece of history in your hand.
And if you're feeling inspired by our deep dive today, I highly recommend checking out the USA Coin Book website.
Oh, yeah. That's a great resource.
They have tons of information and images that can help you learn even more about these incredible coins.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for joining us on this numismatic adventure. It's been a real pleasure exploring the world of valuable U.S. coins with you.
Likewise. Thanks for having me.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.